Hello, everybody, and welcome to another live episode of the Elseworlds Exchange. I'm Sal.
And I'm Joel.
Woohoo! We're talking about Harley Quinn's many looks over the years since her invention, and man, what a hard situation this is for her because she nailed it out of the gate. Every time they've changed her costume, I've been like, why bother?
It is one of those rare situations that doesn't happen so much with comic characters anymore, or even at the time where it's like, oh, you nailed it right, you hit it right out of the park on your first try.
Yeah, no notes, first try. She is literally the definition of a no notes reference. Like 1992, we're there. We've got it. Okay. You've done it. Before we do devolve into discussing all of the many different looks, and in this case, there are a lot of like in-universe looks for Harley Quinn, but we're probably going to go outside into the multiverse a little bit to look at some of the versions of her, mostly adaptations. I think that's where they really like go off the beaten path, right? Like
Indeed,
the Arrowverse, the movies,
for sure. And now is kind of a perfect time to do it too, because obviously there's going to be the new Suicide Squad game coming out early next month. Lady Gaga is going to be Harley Quinn in Joker Part 2.
Oh God, how pretentious could they? Like, I didn't know they could get more pretentious, and yet here we are. They were like,
I almost respect them for upping the pretentiousness for the sequel, where it's like, you think we're up our own ass, huh? You think we're smelling our own farts after that first one? Well, you got no idea. And it's going to be a jukebox musical, and I cannot wait to have Joker bros who were so really into that first movie defending jukebox musicals. Oh, it's going to be good.
Yeah, I can't wait. So here's our Bruce Timm designed original suit for Harley Quinn. That's the one we're going to be comparing everything to. It's going to be tough to beat. As with every single one of our ranking systems, we will be using the ProZD video game ranking system. If you're not familiar with the with the chart, it's quite simple. It's like your report card. Only if you did an A+, you would get what they call S tier. So there is a grade above A. You just don't know about it because you've never been good enough. So I'm not really giving you a hard time, folks. But the rank is S tier, and then A, B, C, D, and then F. And I think we'll find a few in every category.
Absolutely, because even as we said, they hit it out of the park the first try, but Harley has probably been one of the more reimagined characters, as we said, in the Elseworld, because it feels like everyone wants to take a stab at it. Everyone wants, put their own spin on it.
Absolutely, and I think it's just because she's such an iconic character that people want to have like some measure of ownership over her, which up to and including the people who actually invented her in the first place, because obviously Bruce Timm is like, I've got other ideas for Harley Quinn that are in my sketchbook that I could maybe share with you someday. It's like, okay, Bruce, slow your roll. I get it. You think every character you've invented is sexy. Before we get into it, I should mention that this show is sponsored by viewers like you. You're watching the show live. You can sponsor today's show by using Super Chats. Ask a question or comment. We'll read it here on the show. It'll be here forever. If you'd like to see more, you should also like this video, subscribe to the channel, click bell for notifications, and you'll know when we go live, so you can be there with us when we are live not every single, but like on Fridays or any other day. We have a show Off the Rack on Mondays where my wife and I talk about the newest comic book releases and movies and stuff like that. And just recently we had a little chat with Tom King. He was on the show. That episode just dropped yesterday. If you haven't checked that out, it's a really, really fun conversation. You should definitely check that out as well. And writer of Dark Crisis, Joshua Williamson, has a friggin' show on this channel where we talk about his everything from comic books to Hook, the movie from Steven Spielberg, and more. But yeah, so there's a ton of different designs. I wanted originally to go like in some kind of chronological order, but there's no way.
No, I guess not. Because, hell, it's like if we're going to talk about costumes, technically her next one would be from the Batman and Robin Adventures, which barely changed at all. Just got a little bit more angular. So even the creators themselves are like, no, we don't need to change this one.
Oh, yeah. No, they were like, we can change everybody. The Joker, Killer Croc, especially Scarecrow, at least 3 times. But Harley Quinn needs to stay the same. It isn't really until, because obviously even when we got her in the comic books, it's just the cartoon version, but more filled out. But the Batman animated series, The Batman, gave us a first glimpse into what we can expect from like changes. And by the way, pretty beholden.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm really impressed with this reimagining where they were like, all right, so we're not going to really break it. You
No,
know,
more exaggerated in keeping with the art style of the show. If anything, I think they went back to basics with the character more than anything. Instead of being an Arkham psychologist, she's like a Dr. Phil TV show psychologist, which is kind of fun.
it is fun. It's a good idea. It's a good interpretation of the character. As far as the fit goes, I like the over exaggerated hat. I
Mhm.
love like the floppy nature of like the kind of like fringe that goes or the frill
A lot more
clown.
white.
A lot more white, but I think it breaks it up in a fun way. It basically is the
Mhm.
costume, but just with more and the open fingered gloves, which I also enjoy. I like it. I think it's a solid design. I'd love to see it in other things.
Mhm.
And a good compliment, by the way, to her Joker.
Indeed.
I'm gonna give her an A. I think it's a good design. I mean, it's the same design,
Yeah.
but a little more exaggerated. And
Just through the lens of the Batman.
exactly. And by the way, like honestly, like I'm not looking for much. Like I'm especially not looking for them to, you know, break what ain't fixed or fix what ain't broken. You know what I
It's
mean?
true.
It's a good look, and this is an interesting kind of like almost more manic design. I'm like, oh, it's a little more scary or a little more
Mhm.
crazy, and I'm like, that's kind of
A-
cool.
and one that doesn't get its flowers near as much. Again, we see
Hell no.
big shots of like Harley's costumes from throughout the multiverse and everything, but they don't honor that one.
No, no, we never get to see this costume. That's why I was like,
No,
oh, let's talk about it for a minute. I think it's kind of
less.
cool. Um, yeah, I will showcase Jim Lee's like not debut because obviously she didn't debut in Hush, but like this is the one where a lot of comic book readers were introduced to her in the series for the first time, and it was like, yeah, this is just the suit, but drawn by Jim Lee. Like,
Mhm.
okay, like I guess that's fine. Um, again, no- uh, does the does the look translate from animation to comic book 2D? Yeah, because
Yeah.
how could it not? Like you nailed it. Just trying to find an actual friggin' image of it, and it's proving more difficult than you'd think for no reason.
It's the
Uh,
famous one from No Man's Land I'm thinking of, right, where she's, like,
ah.
swooping on in.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I was thinking of Hush, but yes, when she first debuts, she does debut in No Man's Land.
Yeah,
Oh, here we
that's
go. Here,
me.
maybe I think this is it. I think I've got it from No Man's Land, and yeah, it's a little more exact. Like, I'm not thrilled about how stiff the headgear
Mm,
is,
yeah.
but that could just be artistic license. It's just the look.
Yeah,
It's the same look. So I don't even think it's worth ranking. It's the same thing as the cartoon, but in the
it's just
comic
in the
book.
book now, yeah.
Hmm.
And again, why mess with success? The black and the red, so good. The diamond motif, making it like a Harley Quinn, how it is, connected to the Joker playing card and everything. It all just works from top to bottom, doesn't it?
100% agreed. And I love actually this is nice seeing it actually her suit complemented against Joker's classic outfit because
Hmm.
I'm just so singularly impressed from the jump of how they don't incorporate any Joker colors in her suit. She's
No.
wholly original yet completely complementary. Although I don't find red and black to be complementary to purple and green, but it doesn't matter. Like she complements him, or at least she helps him stand out, and yet he also helps her stand out. I'm
Absolutely.
it's an amazing synergy that I'm convinced wasn't even on purpose.
Well, I mean, we know it basically happened by accident because when they were writing it's Joker's Favor is the
Yes.
episode she debuts in of Batman the Animated Series, and it was literally Paul Dini being like, "Hey, I've got a fun part for my friend Arlene Sorkin. I think Joker should have a gun mall. He should have a girl with a gun, and she should be a fun clown too." Little did
Yeah.
he know he was making the fourth pillar of the DC universe.
Right. I love how I assume that what happened in this case was they were looking at I believe that the story goes they need like Joker gets it like a girl does something. They like somebody needs to open the door for the Joker.
Yes.
And I guess it could be a floozy, but what girl would do that? And so they
Hmm.
were like, "Oh, well, this is a great opportunity for us to do something." And of course, the original design of Harley Quinn for the animated series is another one I guess we can rank.
Yeah.
Uh,
A little different.
little different. where to start? I mean,
Very, very Ghostbusters with the big glasses and everything.
Big glasses, big curly hair. Okay. So in my case, there's a lot of things that like clearly are going to be carried over. You got the diamond, you got the cross section of different, clearly different colors.
Yeah.
You know, like the black and the red. You have some kind of a neck attachment.
Yeah,
you know, like,
yeah.
And but otherwise, you know, exposed arms, exposed hair, and yeah, I don't like it at all.
No, she has comedy and tragedy earrings, which are kind of interesting.
That is interesting. It doesn't. What a nightmare it would be to animate, and what a pain in the butt it would be to make. I don't like it. I don't like much of it. You know, there's boots as well. Again, that doesn't help. None of this is great. It's a first idea, to be sure.
The fact that we can see they innovated on time and time again, where it's like, well, let's just make it one solid body stocking.
Yeah, I'm so glad. I'm so thankful that they were like, yeah, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, I feel like that character would not have stood the test of time if they had done it as drawn.
Yeah, I don't think so. What's funny is they did actually immortalize it in a Batman black and white statue.
Really?
Oh yeah, and it translates better in 3D.
Yeah,
but again, I'm not sold.
It's not instantly iconic like the other one is
instantly
iconic.
No, it is not. It like this could be you if you wanted it to be actually in canon, you could say something like this is like a first idea for Harley. She tried it out. Maybe she and Joker. Like it could be like Batman doesn't even know they're the same person because it's like, you know, he's like, oh yeah, I remember you had a floozy at one point that like opened the door for you. She wore an insane outfit and had like crazy wild hair. And then Harley Quinn showed up. Yeah, that was me when I'm not a very good designer if you want to tell me the truth.
I don't make fun of your purple gloves.
What are you talking about? I haven't worn those in decades.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's an outfit. If we were to rank it, what do you think? I'm thinking maybe D.
Yeah, again, this needs to show improvement is what this needs.
Yeah, it's not an outright fail, especially because like when they translated it, you know, it's not like it fails on every level. Like, look, when you make it into 3D, it's even worse. I actually like it better in 3D. So I think, you know, it's so the fact that I could like it at all is an improvement.
It's the definition of a first draft.
Yes, absolutely. So for at least a while, most of those who were in charge of Harley were like, yeah, it's an instantly iconic outfit. There's really nothing that can be done to improve or change it until, and we saw iterations of it. I hesitate to pull it up, but there's a Harley Quinn. You know, it's just Harley in states of undress. You know what I mean?
Which was very popular for a while.
Oh yeah, well, people are very quick to sexualize Harley Quinn, even though for whatever reason, I don't find that particularly titillating. But you've seen Bruce Timm obviously is a big fan of that, and you've seen it's just Harley from the top. And then a negligee and a woman. It doesn't matter. There's nothing there. It's not an outfit. It's certainly, she's not going to fight Batman in it. It's purely for titillation.
And yet it is an image that has stood the test of time and is an image that does continue to be recurring. So, I mean, hey, I guess they struck a chord somewhere, didn't they?
Oh yeah, well I think everyone knows for whom this is, but the idea of the rev up your Harley sequence from Mad Love is like everyone's thinking of that when they
was in the book and then made it into the show,
right? And I love how this is in the actual context of the outfit, she is trying to seduce the Joker, and this is a golden opportunity because we've never seen the Joker in a state of arousal, or at least presumably, unless he's strangling Batman. But it's in this case, I what an opportunity it could have been to see what if they wanted to answer that question. This is clearly a question that they are answering is what turns me, Bruce Timm, on, not what turns the Joker on, right? Because what is the Joker?
He's not having any of it.
No, he's clearly doesn't work for him. But
no, he's asexual as a motherfucker in this scene.
That's how I feel. I mean, I've always interpreted the Joker as being completely asexual, but but this is an opportunity for them to be like, hey, what does the Joker find attractive? But they didn't do that. So as far as the negligee is concerned, because I know a lot of people use it, it's all right. I guess, C tier. It's the same costume, but with less costume on.
Yeah, and certainly has stood the test of time. So I feel, yeah, C, maybe even C plus.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, exactly. Depending on your persuasion.
Yeah,
Um,
really.
but I will say that after that, pretty much the biggest point of derivation for the character, not including the Batman, which no one regards, is the Arkham games.
Yes.
Unless I miss my guess, I think the Arkham games are pretty much where things go completely different.
Are the Arkham games pre or post New 52?
Oh
I mean,
man, good question. I don't know. I don't recall.
yeah, let's check the dates on that one because I don't know if was this around the same time or was this.
Yeah, Arkham released in August of 2009. New 52 launched in 2011, so it is pre New 52.
Okay. So clearly this was a bit of a sea change for
Yeah,
the Harley character. This was a pretty sizable overhaul, though most of the characters in the Arkham games got a little bit of an overhaul because it's like, hey, they're in jail, they don't have access to their costumes. They had to make something out of what they had.
absolutely, and I'm all for it. I understand that the games were like looking for an opportunity to like kind of define their own version of the characters,
Mhm.
but there is a big moment in this game where Harley kind of is revealed, and I remember Arlene Sorkin did the voice for at least the
Yeah.
first game, and they were like, I remember she said, "How do you like my new uniform?" And
Yeah,
it's like,
she's really leaning into the fact where it's like, hey, I got new clothes. Fun,
right,
huh?
like this is not the outfit. Like as far as the game, even the game universe is concerned, she presumably wore the original costume.
Yeah,
And then we
I
see this.
stole a nurse's outfit and dressed up. Fishnets, corsets, boots, those like arm things. I don't even know what you would call those.
Oh yeah, the things that like close it over. I don't know. I will say there's nothing that excites me. Not to, not that I mean it in a sexual way, but I just mean like there's nothing that says this is Harley Quinn for me. It's Harley in a sexy bondage nurse costume.
Yeah.
Like it's Harley Quinn wearing a different character's costume. For me,
Hmm.
this is nothing, and yet it will become like the marching orders for every interpretation of Harley from
Yeah.
this day forward.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, it's kind of hard to deny that this would be the one, right? That and the face that launched 1,000 ships.
yeah, I mean, like, a couple of things that do make it distinctly Harley is the fact that she has two colors. But
Yes.
again, like they drop the black, they replace it with purple,
Yes.
so it's more linked with the Joker. We incorporate Joker's colors
Yeah,
in this.
weird, right? Because it's usually always red and
Black and
black
red.
or
Yeah.
red and blue in some cases. Yeah. Wow, I never even clocked that first. Even her makeup is purple now.
Yeah, we gotta link her directly with the Joker, and I mean, like,
Huh.
the character that we see in the Arkham series is that, like, she is not an independent character. She
No.
she is the Joker's like flunky. She opens doors for him. She mourns his loss. It's
Mhm.
there's nothing here. It's
She briefly does take over his gang in one of the DLCs
yes,
for Arkham City, and in fact, that one is where she incorporates black into the suit because I guess she's in mourning, and it's a
right.
whole thing. Actually, I really like her gang's design in that one. Actually, when they start dressing like her, I'm like, oh, that's a
Yeah,
good look for you guys. Actually,
I agree. I agree. I like that too. If we could take a look at the Arkham City suit, it is basically she's wearing the exact same costume, but we dropped the nurse motif.
yeah,
Uh, it's just the
it's
same
Riot
thing.
Girl Harley, yeah.
Yeah, and of course she's dyed her hair, two different
Which
colors to
which
to
did the
signify.
comics yeah, which
Yeah,
did the comics do that first, or did the game do that first, where the hair is now part of the costume and the pigtails is standing in for the jester's mask now?
I think by this point the comics must have done it because of the New 52 Harley does it.
This is a weird time for multimedia where I think Harley is a character who is, really defined by like what's going on in multimedia at the moment, where like it's kind of hard to tell what influenced one and what influenced the other because so many projects were going on at once.
Yeah, definitely. Um, as far as the Arkham suits go, I'm obviously going to go completely in the other direction as the canon or as the audience is. I think it's a D. It says it's nothing about Harley. It wasn't. I won't say it's an F because I wasn't horribly distracted by it when I was playing the game.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like when I was playing it, I was like, yeah, it's Harley, and that could have a lot to do with Arlene Sorkin doing the heavy lifting
this is
because
true.
for me, like that costume, like the Arkham Asylum nurse suit is just like a video game look. Like I almost want to
Very.
believe it's like a holdover from some other game. Like
It feels kind of Silent Hill Horror Hospital, doesn't it?
exactly, and not even like the good Silent Hills, like the later Silent Hills, where it's like, oh, the nurses are sexy and hot, and I'm like, no one's having sex in Silent Hill.
No.
All right,
Or
like
not the
this is
kind they want, at least.
exactly, and this is Harley Quinn is essentially wearing two different costumes. She's wearing like the bondage biker outfit and a nurse's uniform. The next
It's
one,
a
she
hat
draws
on
the
a
nurse.
hat, is what you're saying.
It might be triplicate hats. Like we might be, Harley look forced into two other looks. It's bad. It's just bad. It's a D at least. D minus.
I would at least give it a C because, again, like we said, it's a face that launched 1,000 ships. This is, I think, in many ways where a whole new audience was maybe introduced to the character via this look. And clearly, whether you like it or not, there was some ripple effects.
Oh, absolutely. No, but I do vividly recall, and I'm usually on the other side of history on this one, but I vividly recall being like, oh, well, that's not going to last. And I was wrong.
No, it lasted.
It lasted hardcore. There's another Harley costume that is oft ignored, oft forgotten, and I will mention it here only because I remember seeing it and being like, "All right, that's an outfit," or slash, "This is a show," and that's the CW's Birds of Prey Harley Quinn.
Oh, the very short-lived Birds of Prey, though the show that did end up getting referenced in the latter days of the Arrowverse. There, we did get to see it. It is a planet that exists.
Yeah, I want to believe that the reason is because people who worked on the Arrowverse were actually still around from the Birds of Prey period. Like they were just like, "Hey, I want some justice for a show I worked on." But the Harley Quinn outfit for this is like, yeah, I mean, you can't.
Oh, you're trying. Oh, how cute!
It's the CW. I don't, it like, what are you gonna do when you make fun of a clown?
Budgets were worse than they are now.
Exactly. It's like giving, it's like giving them a hard time for like the Phantom looking silly, and even then, it's like it's the most accurate Phantom costume I've ever seen in history.
Yeah, you don't want to be mean. Where it's like, man, this children's play, the production quality sucks ass.
Right, the acting is just hardly believable. I'm not pulled in. I'm very aware I'm watching a play right now. This is obviously they're like, we are leaning into the sexualization of Harley. We want to show off a little bit of skin, even though like the nature of Harley Quinn's costume is literally not showing any of it. It's a body stocking. Although I do kind of appreciate that they're breaking it up where they're like, oh, like the white and black, let's do that, but instead of white, we'll use her skin tone. I also kind of find it funny that like if you pull back a little bit, her diamond outfit on the chest looks like a bat.
Oh shit, so it does. Huh.
And it's like, what are you trying to say? Like, even back then, are they trying to imply, like, maybe Harley Quinn might be a really good member of the Bat Family? I don't know.
Really. We're signposting it decades before.
Exactly. This is an outfit where it's like, it's almost unmistakably Harley, but you could probably get away with going to like a cocktail party wearing this outfit, and no one thinking you look like Harley, lest they out themselves.
As is true of a lot of CW costuming.
Exactly. But you wanted to talk about the New 52 suit, and I think that's really important because it is where we get our most consistent, long-lasting suit, and of course you can see the video game's influence.
She also had several technically in the New 52.
Yes.
This is the good one that they eventually settle on. This is the Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Connor. She's dressing like a roller derby girl now because that's what she did in the book. This is good. This took them a long time to figure this out. They've brought back the diamonds. They brought back the red and the black together to complement each other. There was a way worse one with red and blue in like the Suicide Squad when it started. And she had like a terrible haircut and everything. That one was like, oh God, why don't you just piss on the Gospels? This is the one that kind of ended up being the standard moving forward. And it took them so long to eventually get here. And thank God they did.
Yeah, it's true. You nailed it. And I love how strongly you feel about it, because at this point, I had pretty much written off Harley Quinn as a character. I could not care less. I know exactly what you're talking about when it comes to that, because I remember reading Suicide Squad, like I believe it's Kicked in the Teeth, where she looks like almost like they're trying to go for something, right? They really want you to like be.
They're doing like a Nancy Spungen, like, oh, this is like a dangerous drug addict. This is what she would look like.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, she's a dangerous, scary drug addict.
She looks like if you touched her, she would be sticky.
Yeah, thank you. Gross.
Very that whole Suicide Squad run is really gross and really uncomfortable. And not only did they absolutely change, that's the one. Not only did they change the design for basically no reason, but this is also where they change her origin to be like, oh, well, she got pushed in the acid too, and that's why she has skin. It's not just makeup. And I'm like, oh, that cheapens Mad Love and that cheapens the Joker's surviving it. That's a bad choice, New 52. You did not need to throw out the baby with the bathwater in that.
Now, the baby with bathwater analog is absolutely analogy is absolutely apropos for the New 52. Like New 52, for everything that succeeded with the New 52, you lost something that was more special and enduring. Like things that you people love about New 52. Like you have to admit also that like they threw a lot of really important stuff. It's like cool things or even like better improvements took place during New 52.
Yeah,
but in exchange, the directive on high was, and also get rid of anything that like mattered. And so we're left with this. We forgot to rank them. This thing, the initial New 52 Harley Quinn, again, it's a D. It's just it's just a fantasy come to life. It's someone's very specific fantasy come to life. It does incorporate Harley. I get that they're trying it. Her mask is turned into more of like a Nightwing Spawn-esque domino thing.
Yeah, where it's like she's not wearing a mask. It's like makeup on her face. See, I think you're being kind giving it a D. I would go even worse by giving it an F because it's like not only is this a bad costume, but the stories were bad and gross and ugly and didn't feel good. And really, it's shocking that Harley would come out the other side as, the fourth pillar of the DC universe, because this was a weird time when they're like, we know we're going to do a movie. We know she's going to be important. We really want to up her profile, divorce her from the Joker and put her in her own side thing. But we don't care enough to give her good stories for like many years later. And in fact, we'll muddy the waters by adding shit on to the origin and doing backups to try and explain this terrible costume and these bad choices that never work till they eventually just say screw it and bring back the old stuff. If there's one positive thing from this bad era is that this kind of becomes the backbone of Harley's character motivation in the excellent Harley TV show, to where they have this very meta take on retconning where Harley's like, yeah, I choose not to remember my origin this way. That didn't happen. Moving on. And I'm like, good. I agree.
I want to too. I've been doing it for years. What's funny is the Amanda Conner Jimmy Palmiotti suit, which again, so we've ranked it as a D or an F for the first New 52, but as far as the Conner suit goes, which is obviously it takes its cues from it. It is essentially the same concept, just done better. But I think that with that suit, I'd say it's like a B, maybe even an A. I mean, like it's an A only as much as it lasted. It stood the test of time.
In fact, it basically still is now the standard. And even when you get into the Suicide Squad movie, she's basically just wearing a longer pantsed version of this, is what she's wearing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's true. And occasionally, and even when we go back to like the original suit, it's mostly for nostalgia value. Like no one's doing it.
Heroes in Crisis did it. Remember out of the blue, she just put on her old suit in Heroes in Crisis and then didn't keep it afterwards.
Yeah, of course. I try not to think of Heroes in Crisis as often as possible. Now, do you consider this suit to be essentially the same thing as the one we were looking at earlier? I mean, it is still Amanda Conner. It's still Jimmy Palmiotti. It's still roller derby inspired, but it's essentially a similar look, but without it. Like, we lose the domino mask and replace it. Or actually, I think the domino mask is gone for both suits. It's just eyeshadow.
Yeah, the makeup is implying the domino mask. And her hair is a different color. This is also basically the look from the cartoon now, where they are now the same.
No, we went from this to the other one. I honestly, this one in particular, the one that's like black hair, red hair, initial Jimmy Palmiotti. Again, I don't care. I get that it's roller derby, so I guess that's fun. I'll give it a B because I think it's successful. It's also not gratuitous, at least as far as I'm concerned. So I'll give it top marks for that, at least a B, if not maybe an A minus. The newer suit or the different suit that will be the template for the cartoon.
Yeah.
Again, Same. I don't see it. Honestly, I barely see a difference. The only difference is her hair's a little longer. They replaced the black with blue, I think, to soften her image and make her more fun and like to make her a little less serious, even though, you know, she's holding a gun.
The jacket's a little closer to the movie too.
Oh yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, the only thing she's missing is, you know, live fast, die clown on the back.
Yeah, thank God we don't have that. But yeah, this is another one. I'm like, again,
I like it.
I'm not disappointed in it. I can, you know, I don't hate it.
I guess we should talk about the mallet too, because she like
gains
and loses the mallet many times over her career as like her trademark weapon, because, you know, because it's funny and everything, you know, it's like a Jack in the Box.
Right. Or it's a carnival thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's
the mallet. Strength.
It's funny how like what bits of iconography become the thing that like they're known for, even though there might not be anything correlating them. Like I'm just kind of like, I don't know what the mallet says or why they used it. You know what I mean?
It also too, we can kind of use the mallet to chart her course from villain to anti-villain to anti-hero to straight up hero, and I'm sure they have had conversations. Is the mallet less violent than a knife? Is the mallet less violent than a gun? Because a mallet is kind of a funny weapon, right? Though if you're getting hit with a mallet, you're getting freaking hit with a goddamn sledgehammer, basically.
It's true. Yeah, you're gonna be Gallaghered.
And then some.
And while we are skipping around, I think it's important to note the animated series suit because it is basically the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like, it is the same thing. There's a lot of skin. And again, like, I don't necessarily hate it. And I think it's because it's the tone of the show. Like, the show really owns the look, and it even justifies it a little bit. I'm not against it. Because I think when she first debuts in the show, she's wearing the unitard. Like, she's wearing the full onesie.
She is. The changeover from one costume to another is a major character crux of season 1, to where Joker by the end basically, you know, kind of made me question my own love and appreciation for the OG suit, where it's like, put on the goddamn costume. It's all you're good for. It's all people want. And she's like, no, I'm my own person. I'm my own woman. And, you know, I think it's, you know, lame that people forever tie me to this one look and, you know, put me in this box that I'm never allowed to leave. And I'm like, oh, okay, show, you are written by fans. You know what you're doing. You are reclaiming this look and actually giving more of a story reason than the comics ever did for the change in costume. Good on you.
Yeah, I again, like, I think that for the suit itself, like, for the suit in the context that it's an A, because it sells the show, it sells the character, it works, even though it's like somehow a streamlined version of the already, like, you know,
streamlined
skin showing streamlined costume. But again, like, if they were to say, oh, this is how she looks from now on, I'd be like, oh, it's a B, because I don't want to see it all the time. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with the proclamation that like the onesie represents some kind of bondage or subjugation, but if they want to use that to make that their like theme or point for the character in that
and they've been
context,
consistent with it, yeah,
right. But in that context alone, then like, yeah, I'm fine to carry over with that, but you know, but don't conflate the issue here. It's not you know, there is Harley's Holiday, there's Harley and Ivy, like there's a million there's multiple instances in which Harley Quinn has separated from the Joker or established her independence, or at least her own character, and it's you know, she's not a real person. The show gave her independence occasionally because they knew how popular she was, not because they were trying to make a statement about femininity or independence, which,
you know what, story actually also does something very similar in a good way to really have this idea that Harley owns the suit and owns the character and that she did it all independently. The Katana Collins White Knight-averse version of Harley,
yes,
where Jack Napier meets her at a burlesque club where she was already doing the Harley bit and the Harley character before she even met him, and they actually bond over their mutual love of commedia dell'arte, because hey, we're both smarter than we actually look. Oh, you know, I'm just a shit-kicking crook, and, you know, oh, you're a burlesque dancer, but we're actually both super intelligent. We're actually just using this as our chance to get to the next thing. And I'm like, oh wow, that's a really great understanding of the history of clown clowns and clowning and comedy, and to make that part of her character, and to go, no, Harley already had this way before she met the Joker.
Right, which I'm very okay with.
Same.
The White Knight versions of her are also fun to explore because, of course, in the initial White Knight story, there are already 2 Harley Quinns.
yes, they are. That one splits the different. The White Knight-verse is very good to Harley, and she has several different suits throughout the run of it.
Yeah. We do get the suit, like the one we know and love, and there's nothing really to say about it outside of the fact that, like, for every version that you see of it, you typically see her without the mask. You see her wearing instead like her glasses, which substitute a mask, and we see her hair. I mean, obviously, it works. It's, we see a lot of her through it, and I think that has a lot to do with like the art and the like facial expressions. It's a really just another way of demonstrating Harley Quinn. Again, like for me though, looking at the suit and seeing her wearing glasses and no makeup on the top, it says to me it's unfinished. Yeah. Like it almost seems like every time I see it, I feel like she is caught between change-ups, like
she's very much core to her character in the story,
which is an A for story. As far as a design, it's a fun look, so I'll say A. I like it. The other question is, of course, like the other design, like the Bat Family design.
We get several other ones because we get the Margot Robbie Suicide Squad one, and then we get Neo Joker on top of that for fake replacement Harley, and then we get like a couple Bat Family ones.
Yeah, that's right. The one that I wanted to talk about first was, of course, like the gray one.
Yes,
where we saw
that's the big one. Yeah, from the end of the Katana Collins run.
Yeah,
Harley Noir.
Yeah. I like it. You know what it says to me? Deadpool X-Force.
Yeah, the black and the gray work well together. It's so well done in the story too. I have fully embraced myself as a hero now. I'm a member of the Bat Family, and now I'm aping Batman's color scheme on top of everything else. And it extends even to the hammer, to where now the hammer is yellow like the utility belt.
Oh, I know. I love the idea of her incorporating and not just the fact that she's incorporating like Batman's colors, but the fact that she's like, if I'm on the side of good, I have to lose the color.
Yeah.
My brightness and my color, that has to go away. And
that's
it's like
tied to the chaos of evil that I once clung to.
Exactly. As far as the gray one, I mean, I think it's an A suit because I also think the gray Deadpool suit is an A suit. I love it.
It's also a really good story, and that helps it a lot too. That the story fucking kicks ass as well.
Exactly. Real quick, we should address some of the amazing super chatters in today's show. We're sponsoring today's show. Igor Ruzin says, "I love you both. Thank you for your content." Thank you, Igor, for watching. Hulkzilla says, "The classic Bruce Timm outfit is unbeatable. Have a fantastic weekend, you two. We'll try." Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bryce Harriet, greetings, gentlemen. As a sponsor of the show, I say you are men of taste. Well, thank you very much. So are you, Bryce. I'm excited to see your takes. Also, I love the creator interviews. Well, I'm glad to hear it, man. Thank you. I'm glad you dig them. Check them out if you haven't already, folks. Forging Views joined the stream just in time to hear Sal say, "What turns me, Bruce Timm, on?" Love you guys, and love these rankings you guys have been doing. Thanks, Forging Views.
He'll tell you all about it. He has a whole art book that basically answers that question.
At least one. Yeah, him and Frank Cho have plenty of books of sexy ladies you could buy. And Saba Nerd says, first super chat. Thank you very much, man. Great name. Stepan Sayich says, I had a couple of issues of Suicide Squad, and his design for Harley was always one I'd like to see more of. Yeah, man. Actually, the Harleen book. Yeah, I'm gonna actually try and spell Sayich, but the Harley.
Oh yes, I remember this one from Black Label. Yeah.
Yeah, the Harleen book not only was breathtaking and incredible in its execution, but the Harley look is second. It's incredible. The art alone,
very art forward. Yeah, as
art forward. Yeah, this is such a good book and such a great depiction of the character, and it's such a great idea. The incorporation of the diamonds as the mask.
Yeah,
never thought of it before. Such a good idea.
You know who else did the diamonds as the mask? And I can't believe I'm only remembering this now. The Telltale Batman game.
Ah, yes.
which had a radically different take on Harley, to where now in the relationship between her and Joker, she's the abuser actually, and she's actually kind of the one pushing that relationship to where she's more of the criminal mastermind. What an interesting take. Those Telltale games, when they were good, were some of the fucking best. It sucks everything had to happen with that company that happened with it.
I know that they always try to do something really innovative and interesting. This is the Telltale look. By the way, for Sayich, I gotta give him like an A. I think we did that already, but for Telltale, this is a cool look. It takes the video game design and it, like, you know, the one from the Arkham games, and like tones it down, but in a more realistic, believable, and practical way.
Yes.
You know, like she's still got the corset, but it's less egregious. She's got a jacket instead of like the nurse's outfit, and it's a biker jacket. So it already immediately toughens her up. But for whatever reason, maybe it's the black, it still says Harley. And it's not like covered in patches or has a bunch of different bombastic colorings or even like spray paint. It's just a leather jacket.
Yeah, and it's well written too, and the fact that she's branded all of her stuff so heavily, so her hammer is now just a sledgehammer, and it's black and red, and she has the white and the diamond on her gun and everything. The actress doing the performance is great on it too, and it just really comes together, that one. God damn, it sucks we'll never get a third one of that, because boy, they left that on such a cool cliffhanger with Alfred being like, I will quit, and I will leave you, Bruce Wayne. You have to decide.
Yeah. I like this idea. I like this outfit. I think I gotta give it an A. I think it's cool.
Agreed.
It's weird how it's almost deceptively too simple.
Right.
Like it's almost not enough, and yet I think it really works.
Which that's the brilliant of it, that Harley is such a well-defined character, both in that universe and in fiction now, where it's like, we can strip it all away. We can strip it all away just to a few signifiers, and you will know from silhouette that is Harley Quinn.
Yeah. I think that the other funny thing about like the anime, or about the Asylum universe, the video game, is that there's an animated movie.
Yes, there is.
I believe it's like, I can't remember what the hell it's called.
Assault on Arkham.
Assault on Arkham. Thank you.
And it's really good.
Yeah. It's interesting. But the Harley look is different from the video game that it is based off of.
Yeah, I know, right? Clearly, she's gone through a couple looks in between. The timeline of the Arkhamverse is honestly a little hard to parse at this point, especially because this new Suicide Squad game does take place in the Arkhamverse, but clearly there's some ideas where they're like, oh crap, we wrote ourselves into a corner here, didn't we?
You wrote yourselves into a corner by literally imposing this restriction that no one asked for, which is setting it in the same universe. But I mean, like Harley, you know, because you got multiple looks. It's the same outfit, but sometimes she wears the outfit or like the helm, the headgear, sometimes not. I think that as far as they're concerned, if it's ponytails, it's Harley. We don't even need to color it. Yeah. It's like, I get the simplicity. I get that. As far as the rest of it's concerned with the head gear, I like the fact they incorporate the mask into the headgear.
As do I.
So she only has to put on she has one move to become Harley Quinn. Basically, smart, cool, interesting. It also reminds me, it's evocative of the Batman design for the over exaggerated headgear. Again, like however,
she's dressed a bit more tactically everywhere else because, you know, they're on a mission. It's a Dirty Dozen style story.
Yes, she tactically exposes her arms, but like it is there's a more armor forward suit, but also with an eye for, well, don't forget, like, she's hot, so let's show off some skin as well.
Oh yeah, they were sure to do that. Bat instead of hammer, which sometimes she makes the distinction. Sometimes it's not a hammer. Sometimes it's just a bat.
Well, and I think we all know why that is, and I think it's because of the Suicide Squad movie.
Yes, of course.
And that movie's influence, which we'll talk about after we rake this. I think this is I'll say B. I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
It helps that it's part of a good movie. I will always be nicer to a design if it's part of a good movie or story, and in this case, it was.
Yeah. Margot Robbie's first foray into the Harley Quinn character from Suicide Squad.
Yes. A radical departure in many ways from what we know.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people, like, if there were any complaints, I never heard any. Despite the fact that I think if they were to draw this and show it to me first, I would say, what an over-designed nightmare this outfit is.
Yeah, is exactly what I would say.
Right. It's just like when they really. I have a same feeling. She's consistent in her connection to the Joker in that it is over designed and terrible.
Yep, it certainly matches for this universe they created.
Exactly. Within the framework of the movie, I get it. I
also can't complain that the suit doesn't look like the comics because no one looks like how they're supposed to in that movie, because that was a problem with the DC universe as a whole. Though for 2 seconds, we do actually get her in the bodysuit in a flashback when they're referencing that famous, Joker and Harley. Yeah, the Alex Ross art. So it's like, oh, so you do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't. The funny thing is, even then seeing it, I was like, what did they make that out of? Like, just like latex? Like, why did you make it that way? And it looks like a cosplayer. Like, it doesn't look film accurate. And I think,
and we've seen better cosplay too.
And I feel like it was deliberate. I feel like they made her original costume look bad on film on purpose, so that this looked better by comparison.
Aren't you happy we're doing this?
Yeah, right. No, no, I'm not. This is a mess. There's just they incorporate some of the design. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like any of it.
She's got some diamonds on her arm. She's got shitty tattoos. The shirt is interesting. The Daddy's Little Monster. The shirt, if anything, had a longer shelf life than this movie and this costume, because I would see the shirt in Hot Topics and everywhere else for years after this, to where I'm like, wow, what a stupid idea for a shirt. What a stupid. I'm like, well, I guess you showed me, because the shirt continued to be popular for a long time. I guess when you make your character's main costume a shirt that anyone can buy and a very easy Halloween costume to put together, I guess you are looking to the future. So, you know, what the fuck do I know, apparently.
Absolutely. No, this spoke to a lot of people. It really succeeded. I mean, at the very least, it's a very achievable design.
Indeed.
Because it's just things you need to buy at the store.
Which you can get at your local Hot Topic, which again,
or maybe Spirit Halloween,
or that too, which maybe that was kind of the whole point of the New 52 era. They were planting the seeds for this. They were priming the pump to be like, no, this is what movie Harley's going to be. We need to have it be something, be achievable on screen. She just can't be walking around in a body stocking now. Well, that would be silly.
That would be very silly.
Now here's this crocodile man.
Yeah, there's so much writing and stuff on her. It makes me think, like, there's no way that Margot Robbie, the actor, could possibly ever itemize, like, Margot, there are over, like, 112 words on your body as Harley Quinn. Name 30 of them. Like, I genuinely think that she's like, there are like fake tattoos on her that I bet she didn't even know she had. Like, that's how over designed and messy this is. I'm always, and yet I'm also like impressed when I see it like perfectly executed, because this is such an over designed and yet achievable design.
Yeah.
I've seen it everywhere, and I've seen it done poorly, and I've seen it done expertly, and it's just like, it's crazy to me. It's a D.
Yeah.
It says Harley, unfortunately, and it will define her, but I don't like it.
Though thankfully, every other one, from the Birds of Prey movie to the Suicide Squad, they all got better. So I'm happy to say that they evolved this concept.
They did. But before we get into the movies, I think I want to address some comics again. There's this Elseworlds universe called Thrill Killer.
Yes.
That a lot of people love, and I think they even made action figures of it at some point. I want
to say yes.
They did do a Thrill Killer Harley, and it's just awful.
Yeah. Again, they were trying things in this universe. It was very art forward.
Yeah, and sometimes yeah. I mean, for me, I'm like, they're trying it, but like, are they? Like, are you trying? Because it's just like, okay, so what they did was they took her costume and then they just started changing stuff on the main costume. Like, let's just change. Okay, so it's the bodysuit, 100% exactly the same as usual, except she has one more doodad coming out of her head, and the top bangs part is cut off. I guess that's okay. And she shows off her legs, but she has knee-high boots. It's just like,
man, we got some gams on this one.
Yeah. For me, it's not even a design. I think it's a de-design. Like, it's an undesign. It's an unsign. Like, it pulls from a design and just makes it something else. Like, it looks like she's got an octopus springing out of her head. I hate it.
You know, in Dark Knight, the movie where it's like, the difference between you and me, I'm not wearing hockey pads. This is the hockey pads version of Harley, is what this is.
Yeah. I mean, I understand people's love of the Thrill Killer universe. I will never agree with them.
And it's even worse next to Female Joker, because Female Joker looks better.
I mean, like, Joker it's just Joker, but as a woman.
Just as a lady. I mean, if that was part of the story and that was Female Joker's thing, no one can look better than me, darling.
Yeah, no. Like, she comes out wearing the regular Harley costume, and then Female Joker's like, no, and then cuts it up all up and goes,
no, you must look like crap next to me as my understudy.
100%. So in terms of the movies again, they did, obviously, as you pointed out, they made another crack at the Harley Quinn design.
They did.
This one is less over-designed, but still equally not Harley Quinn.
I know, right? There's at least a sense of fun to this one, which is kind of my review of Birds of Prey, the movie in general. Well, it looked like they were having more fun. It looked like Robbie was able to exude a little bit more control on this one for the fact that they straight up made a Birds of Prey movie.
Right? Completely.
Even though Harley was like never a member at this point. But clearly Robbie had read a lot of Birds of Prey comics to like get into the universe, and she surely went to some producer and was like, hey, I like this. We should make this. And then they made it.
Yeah. There's a story being told with the outfit within the context, the framework of this universe and this story. I get it, and I'm fine with it. As a Harley Quinn costume, I don't think it really succeeds. There is another version of it, obviously, where she covers it all up with a jumpsuit. This I like better.
Yes, agreed.
Like, this is
an outfit. The diamonds. It looks more circusy,
and it's more of a unitard. Like, it's more like clearly what we're saying here is it's more like the original one, even though it's gold.
It's the closest thing to a costume in this movie you get, where clearly no one was meant to wear costumes. Even Black Mask there, where it's like, oh yeah, they just edited that in later. He was not going to be wearing that, which is why he takes the mask off. 3 seconds later, they made a whole superhero movie without costumes, which I guess was kind of the point of the movie, because it's all these heroes on their downtime. It's Gotham during the day for like 90% of it.
Yeah. Which, because I'm like a big nerd for movies and stuff, I know it's cheaper to shoot during the day. I suspect is really why they did that. But again, like this is for me, like, this is better than the other one.
Yes, it is.
I think it's like a C.
I kind of like this. If this showed up in anything else, I'd be like, oh, cool, Birds of Prey movie.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I think both of them are a C. Yeah, I think I put both of them at a C.
C is fair. Again, I feel like Robbie was able to exude more control on this one. She's like, look, if I'm going to be dressing like a clown, I'm going to be dressing like my kind of clown. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Speaking of video games, there are other video game adaptations of this character that we haven't discussed before.
Many,
in particular, I'm thinking of Injustice.
Yes. Of which
Gods Among Us.
Yeah, there's the first one from the first game, and then in the sequel it gets even crazier because she gets a new suit, but also there's a whole armor system, so you can dress Harley whichever way you want.
This is Melina with a Harley Quinn color scheme. Like, this is a Mortal Kombat costume for someone else, and then they gave her pigtails. Like, okay.
Which you talk about Mortal Kombat characters wearing costumes. So in the next Mortal Kombat game, they had a whole event for Halloween where you could dress up your characters as DC characters. So Cassie Cage got a Harley Quinn costume. That's the Harley Quinn from the first Suicide Squad movie.
What the hell?
Yeah, so there's a lot of incestuousness happening between the DC universe and Mortal Kombat at the moment.
That's true. Well, I think Warner Brothers owns Neverwhere, so that makes sense to me. In Injustice 2, we changed it up a little bit. I think mostly just to incorporate what everyone already recognizes. This is everything else we've seen. The goggles are an interesting touch.
Yes, those are new.
Yeah.
Normally, I hate goggles. I don't hate them on her because she lost the mask, so the goggles are now kind of standing in for the mask.
Totally. I'm okay with this. It's fine.
I like it too.
Yeah, I'd say it's a C. It passes. You know, it's an easy pass. It's not egregious. I don't really dislike it. It's just kind of like, all right,
And you
whatever.
can also dress your own Harley in that universe too, and she has a lot of good gear pieces actually that pay homage to her long history.
Yes. There is a design that I remember seeing in a cutscene for a video game I never played, and I loved it because it was so like sad and gross. And it was DC Universe Online, the video games, Harley Quinn wearing a dead Robin's cape.
Oh wow, I haven't seen this either.
I love it.
This is
She's
pretty
wearing
dope.
I remember her wearing a helmet and a cape, and I remember like it's it's the same suit, but like during the apocalypse, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's mean and it's terrible, and I love it. I love the
She
incorporation of a cape. I was like, her wearing the cape, like the main unitard suit with a
Mhm.
cape. Oh, now I kind of love the cape.
Right, yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. She's also got the Golden Age Joker design on the helmet and the knee piece, which
Yes.
is clearly more of an armored piece going on in general. And she's got the frills on the cuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes she has them, sometimes she doesn't, depending on how the artist was feeling that
Yeah,
day.
you want to go authentic, you got to put the frills on there. That
Yeah.
the little like smock thing she has, that with the fuzzy dots, like
Hmm.
this is working for me.
I like it too. Yeah.
I think it's an A. It tells a really sad, scary story. I love it.
Yeah.
And
For something I've
yeah,
never seen before. Yeah. Wow. This has surprised me in a good way.
right. Our one of our commenters was like, it's gruesome without any blood in it, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah. Which is hard to do.
yeah. Of course, in DC Universe Online, they did have other costumes. The Amanda Conner New 52 suit was pretty much the primary one at this point.
Right.
As you can see, it's just the same
Yeah.
thing. We get it. We've already we've gone over it before.
Hmm.
Um, are there any that are on your list that you're like we haven't talked about? I know there's a couple more left,
Uh,
at
th-
least.
the chat reminded me the black and white Brave and the Bold suit from the cartoon that was kind of evocative of the original Deanie sketch.
Oh yes, yes, where she's like more of like a flapper.
Yeah, she's like a black and white starlet, which is interesting because in that Katana Collins solo Harley book, she fought a villain called the Starlet, who looked just like this, who was all monochromatic black and white and everything. I'm like, oh, that's interesting, you know, kind of paying homage to the neo-noir roots of the character in Batman the Animated Series. I appreciate this.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It doesn't say Harley at all to me. This is a different character as far as I'm
Mm,
concerned. But yeah, you know, all right, cool.
I
Yeah,
dig it.
I'd say, I guess B, only because it's like it's not terrible. I just don't know if I say it's Harley. You
Mm.
know, it's
Ooh,
somebody else.
another one
Um,
that hits me, Bombshell Universe Harley.
oh yes,
The
that's
one
the other
that
one.
Again, the one that launched a million ships because, what is it? They made all the friggin' statues out of it, and they were
Mhm.
right to.
Oh yeah, no, we have a couple of them actually in the studio. The DC Bombshells line was brilliant and smart and cool and clever. The DC Bombshells Harley Quinn, you could just put that in the main universe. No one
Yeah,
would complain or bat an eye if this was
no,
the like that, which must have been a really tough situation for
yeah,
was it Aunt Lucia who did the art? I don't remember, but like it was uh this is how do you redesign a character who has been through a million redesigns and also any of them can be canon?
yeah, I know, right?
Like I love it. The bomber jacket, it
The
says, I mean,
goggles
it's
again.
the goggles again, but I like the you know, they're more justified. She's clearly wearing a stolen Batman utility belt.
Yes, which is very fun.
You know, the only Joker thing she has, she can lose or take off, which is a card.
The little playing cards sticking out of the stockings, which again, evocative of World War II plain artwork, which is exactly what they were doing here. It works, and it also sells Bombshells as a concept to people who didn't understand it, where it's like, what if they all looked like this? And I'd be like,
Yeah.
cool, that's a good idea.
Yeah. What if the world looked like this? I guess it would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be sick as hell, bro. I like
Exactly.
they remember they tried to do a follow-up to Bombshells. It was like Motor City or something. It was like, you know, what if we did
Yeah.
like
Cars.
like airbrush cars, and it wasn't nearly as popular and didn't last nearly as long. Like, that's sad. They should take another stab at, you know, trying to do a follow-up to this somehow. I
Yeah.
don't know how you would do it, but you should try.
There is a more recent video game, I'm sorry, comic book inspiration for this. And if you were to ask yourself, like, what if the guy who invented Cyberforce designed Harley Quinn from Batman Deadly Duo, then you would have this.
Huh. The tutu is interesting.
The tutu is insulting. This is. It's Ace Ventura. It's Toxic Avenger. It's she is essentially naked if not for that one like tube top thing she has, but
which is very clearly latex.
Right, it's latex. But we're keeping the frills. We got the cuff frills. We got the neck. The instead of a smock, it's frilly on the neck.
Now it's funny you don't like the tutu. I find the bows a little infantilizing, honestly.
Oh, the bows are. There's an issue with the bows. Also, her eye makeup is just like the blue and the red. I think it's funny when you get that blue in there, it's like, no, that's a problem. It just is it's another sign.
It's like you got to pick one or the other. It's either got to all be red and blue, or it's all got to be red and black. You can't mess around with both.
Right, but the bows do have like tassels that remind you of the hat she wears. It still doesn't work for me. This is more like. This is actually one of the more stripper looks that I've ever seen.
Yeah, she also doesn't have a belly button in that picture, which is off-putting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just maybe she's more of an innie, I guess.
That's
the implication there. I don't know. Fine. All right, whatever. I guess I'll give it a D.
Yeah, not my favorite. I've never seen it before, actually, until right now.
Yeah, no, good call, Deadly Duo. There was another one in the video game world that I wanted to cover, and it's the Gotham Knights one.
Oh, yes, which is unconnected from the Arkhamverse.
Yes, I remember seeing this in like a promotion and being like, oh, I hate everything about it.
She was the first boss they showed off, if I recall, and also just from the negativity of this thing, I'm like, oh, I'm not buying this game, and I was right to.
Yeah, it's all the ideas. She's got the jacket, she's got the corset, she's got the she is wearing long pants. She's covered from head to toe, no hat, exposed hair, but also domino mask. But the domino mask is also made of makeup, and her face is made of makeup, and she's
it looks like Furiosa grease paint.
Yeah, it looks like Joker.
Yeah,
like at least for the face, she looks like she has Joker makeup on. I'm like, eh.
It is funny, yeah. Like you said, they threw all the hallmarks in here. They threw so many different ideas in, and yet none of them are complimentary.
No, because you have all the ideas at the same time. I do like the cuffs. The wrist cuffs are
a nice touch.
And it's original. Piratey. Yeah, piratey, and I've never seen them on another design. So, yeah.
This is definitely good.
It's a lot of work for the performer.
Yeah.
Because she's already at a disadvantage. I also see that she also, because we lost the diamonds, we imply them using straps on her arms, and she has diamond earrings.
Right.
Such a subtle note, it's lost on 900% of the audience. Congratulations.
Yeah, and she's got those kind of like, bondage things with like the little metal circles there and everything.
Yeah. Also, I'm now like just putting together that like her mask is like an upside down heart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's an F. This is too much. It's too many ideas at once, and it's trying to. It looks like it insists upon itself.
And it's part of a bad game too.
Right. Everything about this is everything you're doing is bad. I want you to know this.
What's another thing that got me about Arkham Knight there too is where they would have all of these different costumes for all the different characters, but they would mislabel them. And that bugged me, where they'd be like, oh, this is Kingdom Come. Like, that's not Kingdom Come. Or they'd be like, oh, this is, no. I'm like, no, it isn't.
Yeah.
You just can't throw words on things that exist. They had suits during those stories. You're misusing words.
Yeah, and they are different. It's not like, oh, well, she wore the same outfit, and there was no difference. But like, no, there was,
and I know it.
Yeah, and I know it. I want to say
Rocksteady was better at this.
Yes, there was a Kingdom Come Harley Quinn, but I feel like there was, but now I'm thinking maybe it was like a villain or another Joker type character. It was like a proto Joker. It was like a proto Harley.
Right. There was an old lady Harley too. They gave her that treatment as well.
Ah, yes, the Old Man Logan.
Yeah, they gave her the Old Man Logan.
Old Man Logan treatment.
Which I love. If you're a character who's around long enough and are popular enough, eventually you will get your old man, old woman blank story.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Like, Marvel let them do this.
Yeah, I know, right? But she's a comedy character, so it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's is it a design? Sure. Is
She
it
aged
something?
gracefully. She got more
Yeah.
tattoos to imply the diamonds and stuff that would normally be on her.
Yeah, it's C. I don't care. I didn't read it.
Yeah, neither did I. I do like Red Tool is on the cover, though, who actually was the DC parody of Deadpool, because during
Yes.
the Amanda Conner, Jimmy Palmiotti era, the Duggan Deadpool book was also really big and popular right now, and people love to say that one was ripping off the other.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I want to say there's more. I know there are, but oh, it's funny. I was just thinking about how in what's it called? In Heroes in Crisis, she wore both suits. She wore
Yes, she
she
did.
wore the roller derby outfit and the and the classic.
Yes, she did. Just kind of apropos of nothing, which I'm like, did you put this on here just so this image could make the rounds and people would be more interested to pick up this story?
This awful thing. Yeah, you got any others?
She's got to have some future designs, right? What was she wearing in Future's End or Future State? Surely
Oh, there
there
is a
had to
future
have been.
state Harley. There is, yeah, yeah.
I feel like I didn't read that story, but surely there had to have been something for her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's obviously like other Elseworlds, but the future state Harley has a, it's like a punk, it's like a Daft Punk kind of look. I'll pull her up
Naturally.
now. She's, it's
Oh yeah.
all right. It's
Oh, now it's more of a turquoise hair
yeah. That's for me. It's like that is their way of differentiating. Like
because it's
it's
the future.
it's basically the same thing. More tactical belt.
It's very Tank Girl, which I think
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense for Harley, for it to basically just be Tank Girl.
seriously, that could be like the marching orders. I can imagine a lot of people like wanting to do a take on Harley that is basically just Tank Girl. Yeah, this is it didn't nothing to write home about.
Yeah, I mean,
B in the middle of the road.
it's different enough. It looks like the future. Again, there's like maybe one or two really good future state designs where it's like, oh, well, that should be the thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is future state Harley. It's like, she's got the bat. She's got a lot of bandages and tassels and
She's wearing the tights under the jean shorts, which
I
is
do
kind of
like that. I like that look.
very
And
fashion forward. Feels like someone who designed this actually knew something about fashion.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Mhm.
So there's that. Okay, future
Yeah,
state, way to go.
not bad.
Is there a and I don't know if we can count like Batman Beyond because of course obviously her daughters are Dee Dee.
Yes, granddaughters, the Dee
Granddaughters, that's right. Like Harley is
an old woman.
an old woman, so there's no real like Batman Beyond
The,
version of her.
Though she does have two different color schemes depending on if you're watching the rated or unrated version of the movie. In one, she's just wearing blue old lady clothes, but in one of them, she actually is wearing red and black to really remind you, hey, this is Harley, in case you didn't know.
That's hilarious.
I know.
Yeah. There's a lot of like interesting. Oh, there's also like older Harley, like for when in Batman White Knight.
Yes.
When folk get older, but
We
otherwise,
should also probably talk about the upcoming Suicide Squad Kills the
Oh,
Justice
yeah.
League suit, because that's the newest one and the impetus for the show.
right. Let's pull up her because there's also another Harley Quinn we didn't talk about. But yeah, and the fact that like this is a playable character. This is the design for Harley that's supposedly from the same universe as the Arkham series. It's like, oh, okay, it's an idea. It's not especially innovative, but it's there.
There's a certain level of innovation here. Again, we're seeing a lot more movie design here. She's got a graphic tee with a phrase on it.
Yeah, they love their graphic tees. I guess they could sell them.
Yeah, she's got the softer, more heroic blue in her hair. In fact, the black is almost entirely gone in favor of more blue forward.
Yes. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't say anything to me. The buns also are another like odd choice that I'm not wild about.
I think that you're going to be able to change her look. I think it's very
that wouldn't surprise me at all.
It's very Borderlands. I think they're going to be pulling out 100 different skins and 100 different things. Honestly, that's why I'm fucking tired of the game and why I'm definitely not going to play it when it comes out. I will play it when it is inevitably in the bargain bin and I can get it for $15.
Totally. Except you won't be able to play it for like to its full extent because you won't be online. There won't be any servers to run it.
Shut down the servers at that point. I'm also really sad too because Samoa Joe, one of my favorite wrestlers, is voicing King Shark in this one, and it's the last Kevin Conroy performance, and I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, I don't like that. As far as this suit's concerned, there's nothing terribly egregious. It's just kind of like there. I'd say it's a C or D.
Yeah.
I'm not wild about it. The one that I'm really not wild about, I forgot about this alternate universe that I would never want to visit again, is the Gods and Monsters outfit.
Oh, yeah. This Good is evil and evil is good.
This is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, this what Tumblr page did this come from?
Right. I hate it in every respect. I never want to see it again.
She's also not even in the movie. She was in the Machinima short because they had a movie and then every character had like 3 Machinima shorts. It was very weird how they were trying to launch. I feel like at the time they wanted to recreate Injustice without just doing Injustice because there was a comic, there was shorts, there was a movie. They clearly wanted this to be a much bigger thing than it ended up being.
Yeah, they were all in on Gods and Monsters, and I was like, for the love of God, why? But yeah, that thing's an F. I'm not even going to look at it for very long. And finally,
ugly on purpose, I'd say.
Yeah, deliberately bad. And Joker Part 2.
Oh yeah, is this official? Do we know this is what she's going to look like, or is this just like a fan?
This is one of her looks. This is a picture from the thing, like from the set.
But will she be dancing down the stairs too to Gary Glitter? That's what we really need to know.
Oh boy, I hope so. That would be so cool. Yeah, I mean, like, it's this universe which I think is repugnant.
Yeah.
So any idea is going to be, and it's from these people, is going to be dumb and derivative. I kind of like the jacket. I
don't hate it either. It's business formal, Harley.
Yeah, I like the jacket. I don't mind the combination of the diamond like dress underneath.
Not the worst.
Yeah, the lines over her eyes are very Crow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, she's a big fan of the Crow. This version of Harley Quinn's Hell.
I appreciate that she looks in any way like Harley.
Right, that feels like a small victory for this universe.
Right, like, and there's more, by the way. There's more to this outfit. Like, you can see she has diamond stockings. She has got a black skirt, and as you can see, there's a little bit of a fringe thingy down there.
Oh, I didn't even notice this until you went closer. Well, shit, the longer I look at it, the less I actually hate it.
Yeah, I hate her hair, but it's nothing.
Bad dye job.
Yeah, bad dye job. I know it's deliberate because she's supposed to be crazy or something.
Yeah.
There's something there.
Do we see the shoes? Does she have jester shoes?
Oh, we can't see the shoes, but I do see that her stockings are ripped, as would be the style of this universe. Yeah. I love that it's going to be a musical, and
I know, right?
They made no attempt to tell people. Like they're
beautiful.
They're gonna Willy Wonka this again. There is another version of this costume, by the way.
Oh yeah,
yeah, or a costume.
Right. Oh, I get looking much more like the Joker from the first movie there.
Yes, more inspired. Could be maybe a proto version or a post version, depending on what state she's in.
She's got a creepy ass smile, Lady Gaga. I'll give her that though. She's definitely going all in.
Yeah, I think Gaga's a good actor, so I think I'm glad she's given this opportunity because I think she would do a good job with it.
For singers turn actresses, and again, when they said Lady Gaga to him, like, given like her actual accent and like where she's from and everything, it's a shame that it has to be in this because I feel like in another universe she might have actually turned in a really good version of Harley Quinn. Because when she does this thing, it's not a put on.
Exactly.
I'm actually from this part of the world.
Yeah, I kind of like it. Like I don't mind it. I like her. I think she'd be a good Harley Quinn.
She's an interesting choice. I agree.
Yeah, it's funny. I forgot about this version. We talked about movie versions, but we never actually talked about the best movie version of Harley Quinn's costume, which is the Suicide Squad.
Yes, of course, because it all just kind of came together, didn't it?
Yep. Look at that. Look at that.
Finally worked.
That is a comic book costume in a movie. Yep. I'm not, and they had to put their own spin on it. She has red eyeshadow instead of either black or white.
It's still a corset, but it's like a bulletproof vest corset now.
A tactical corset.
Yeah, you know.
She's got the jacket. She's got like she still has to have some kind of lettering on her body, but at least it's a Harley Quinn logo. Which who the hell made that for her? Yeah, like we got the diamonds, we got the pants. Like I feel like I've seen this suit 100 times in a comic book, and
yeah,
they nailed it. This is an A for effort. They also have the goggles, and again, I like them. I think they work.
It's not terrible at all. It works for the film, works for the story of the show. Also, ironically, her best action scene, she's not wearing that. She actually has the ripped red dress for like the whole, for the whole latter half of the movie. Again, showing off the tattoos and everything, and also kind of granting her more mobility. She has like the best, most acrobatic fight scene in that movie.
Yeah, it's a good scene, and it looks great. I like this. I like this too. It's not a costume; it's just what she was wearing, but they turn it into a costume based on how they use it and how they film it. It's like
it's also just really nice that after 3 tries, where it's like, you finally got it, you finally nailed it. Can't wait to see this character come back. Oh, she might not be coming back now for the new.
No, it's over. I think we're never going to see Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn again.
No, of course.
But if we don't,
because she's fucking Barbie now. Because it's like, I don't need your franchise. I'm my own goddamn franchise.
She didn't need it to begin with. Like she really was didn't. A, she was Margot Robbie, but B, she already had a production company. Like she made the Tanya Harding movie. Like which
was great.
She's like, I didn't need to be Harley Quinn. I played her, and it's like that's cool. Like
and not only did she play her, was really invested in everything. Apparently, she showed up to all the meetings for the animated series. Patrick Schumacher was telling me, the showrunner, and he's like, she didn't have to do that, but she did because she cared about the character and what was going on in multimedia and how it might affect her. And I'm like, that's fucking dope. She sounds like actually a pretty cool person.
I agree. Silvery Cricket says, can I nominate Harley from Gods and Monsters for one of her worst costumes ever? I wish you would. Thank you very much. It wins the worst. Congratulations. Metaphor says, I just wanted to say, love the comic pop. Glad to see the crew as well. Hoping you cover the new 52 Animal Man / Swamp Thing sometime. Have a good weekend. You too, Metaphor. Thank you very much. If anything, you're going to see the pre-new 52 Animal Man and or Swamp Thing in the future. Matthew Trilaga, thanks for your generosity. I always thought the Harley designs from Brave and the Bold was interesting. Having her model herself off a 1920s flapper girl was a bold, no pun intended, choice. I agree.
Indeed.
It was different. It was very different. But so there you have it, folks. We want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're very lucky to have you. Thanks to our super chatters for sponsoring today's show. And if you have a favorite design for Harley Quinn, your absolute favorite, your bottom of the 9, this is the best one. Let us know in the comments down below. And of course, if you like this video, make sure to click notifications and let us know, by watching. We appreciate it. Check out Joel on youtube.com/CapeJoel. And of course, check out everything here. We dropped a whole bunch of different shows, including a conversation with Tom King, which you need to watch because it's a lot of fun. And he drops a kind of secret spoiler in there, like a big kind of like reveal that's in there. So check that out as well. And we'll see you next time. I'm Sal.
I'm Joel.
So long, everybody. Bye-bye.